Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of The Black Knitter. I am Liz, the Black Knitter, in case you didn't know. If this is your first time here, welcome. I am so glad that you are here and that you found us. If you've been here before, I'm glad you came back. If you have not subscribed or liked or commented, please do that. It helps us get the word out about the community that we are building here, which is a beloved community. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in just a second. But if you're interested in learning more about how race impacts the making community, you're in the right place. If you're interested in learning more about Black and brown makers, you're in the right place. I really started this channel for two reasons. One is because I just wanted to make it easier to find Black and brown makers, particularly Black makers. So I try to highlight those in my podcast. But I also started it because I'm a sociologist. I have a PhD in sociology, and all of my research deals with race in some fashion. I have a lot of research that deals with the relationship between race and health outcomes and experience in the healthcare system. I also have some work that looks at the impact of race, but also class, on experience in higher education or college. And so I wanted to bring that experience to the conversation on race in the making community. I'm a teacher. I love to teach, so I always start my podcast with some form of teaching. First, though, I want to talk about what's been happening, just to update you on what's been happening since the last time I posted an episode. What's been going on? I'll start with the Nico update. Nico is continuing to do well. He had some days where he was like not having the best appetite. I think he was just being picky though, because he's always been a picky eater. Because he's back to eating with gusto. But he does have an appointment tomorrow. Tomorrow is Monday. So we'll be, checking his blood work again. Probably get another vitamin shot. I'll be talking to the vet about what appears to be, I think, arthritis that he's dealing with. He's actually mad at me right now because I gave him a bath. He doesn't have any teeth. He hasn't had teeth the whole time I've had him. And he's a really messy eater. He basically eats watered down food. I make his food every week. It's chicken. And sometimes I put yogurt in it because we're trying to keep his calcium levels up. But he's a very messy eater. It gets all over his mouth. He hates when I wipe his face, but I do it anyway. But despite my best efforts, his mouth gets all roady. So I give him a bath about once a week. He hates it. So he's laying down here. He finally went to sleep, but he was not happy with me. And his brother, Jet, is laying beside him. Maybe I can move I feel like I need to say 9-inch circular needles. If you know that reference, let me know in the comments. I'm going to move the camera just a little bit to see if you can get a view of the two of these dogs sleeping together in the bed. There they are. You also got a sneak peek of some things that I'm going to show you. Um, but yeah, Jet, his brother, is a lot bigger than him. Jet is 5 pounds. He just went to the vet the other day for a well check. He's of course doing very well. Um, he's a funny little guy. He's only about 4 years old. Um, but they're both rescues from the same organization, the Maryland SPCA. Great, great organization. So if you're in the Baltimore area, it's a great way to um, find really great pets. Um, so yeah, that's where they're from, and that's how Nico's doing. He's doing pretty good. Um, what else did I want to tell you? I made it to the Great Lakes Fiber Festival at the end of May. My husband did go along. He had fun too. We saw a lot of great stuff, including some subscribers. So thanks for those of you who actually stopped me and said hello. I appreciate that. It's really nice to see people face to face. Um, so I'll show you some of the things that I bought while I was there. But in addition to lots of great vendors, um, there was good food. My friend Judy, my knitting teacher, recommended that we try the lamb sandwiches, which were very, very good. Next time we go, I want to try the lamb hot dog because they had those as well. But the lamb sandwiches were very good. They did not disappoint. They had some herding dog demonstrations, which were really, really cool. Lots of sheep there, different breeds. And what I will do is drop some footage at the end of this video so you can get a taste for what it is like at the Great Lakes Fiber Festival. But it was a really nice day. It rained a little bit, but not very much at all. So it was a really nice day to be walking around at the fairgrounds. I did see some people wearing like Blue Lives Matter t-shirts. On the drive down, we saw some, Trump 2024 signs. All I could do was roll my eyes. um, but those are the things that really make it difficult to go to some of these events. Oftentimes, fiber shows are in really rural communities, um, which are uh, oftentimes also very conservative communities. Um, so it would be great to have um, a festival in a city one day. um, yeah, um, that's something I've been thinking about for a long time. Let me know what you think about that. Wouldn't it be nice to just go to a city and maybe take some classes, have some vendors? I mean, I love the country. My people come from the country. Um, but, because the knitting community is so white, oftentimes we don't think about choosing locations that are more diverse. And that can be off putting for a lot of people. Try not to let it stop me though. So the festivals that I've been to, I've made a point of either connecting with somebody that I know that will be there so I can meet up with them, or like going with my husband or friends that are local, so I'm not doing that alone. Um, but it was a really, really good time. I'm really glad that we went. Um, what else? Last time I mentioned that I had finished one grant and had actually started another. That was submitted on Friday, the day that it was due. At the very last minute, it was at 3 o'clock. It was due at 5. That made me kind of nervous, but I tried to let another younger professional take the lead on that project, which I think was really good experience for them. And so things didn't happen the way that I would have done them. Um, but that's okay because it still got done. I think the proposal is really strong. We'll see what happens. Oftentimes these things aren't dependent on how good of a job you do of writing a proposal. But it's in, and that's good. And now I can focus on other things. I have another couple of writing projects that I really want to focus on. One is a chapter. My dean and I got a chapter accepted for a book. That's due at the end of July, so we really got to start working on that in earnest. And then I have another book that's under contract. I'm one of the 3 authors, and we really need to start cranking out some chapters for that book. So I can focus on some of those other things this summer. I also, this might sound kind of strange to some of you, but I really like math and I really want to understand it better. And math is one of those things that you forget the longer that you stay away from it. And even though I like use statistics in my research, you don't have to know how to do the math because there's a software program that does all of that for you. But I really want to understand math better, so I decided to take a math class this summer. So my first day is tomorrow, so that will be interesting. Pray for me. It'll be interesting to see how that goes. But I'm looking forward to it because, like I said, I like math. The other thing that I've been doing is I'm still in my Mabe sweater class. There's a reason why I don't like to do lace. The sweater is giving me so much trouble. I thought, really learning how to read charts would be the challenge for this, but I keep messing up this lace pattern and I've had to rip it out. I've only been able to do like a row an hour because I can't go fast. I have to really focus on what I'm doing. So I'll show you that when I talk about whips. But still going at it. Got another class to do. I'm hoping I can get through the lace before the class is done. But the instructor, Judy, is really fabulous and really makes herself available to us outside of class. So I know if I need more help after the class is done, I can just send her a message and she'll help me out. And then the other thing is I just finished yesterday our annual conference for the East Ohio Conference of the United Methodist Church. East Ohio basically goes from, the northeastern side of Ohio down to Worcester. So it's a big area. Ohio is divided into 2 conferences in the United Methodist Church. But I've been a delegate for our conference for a long time, more than 10 years. The last 3 years, I've gone as the district lay leader. So our conference is divided into several districts, and my church is in the Canal District, which is Akron and surrounding suburbs. And so I have been going because I am district lay leader, but I've gone before just to be a lay representative. And that conference was really interesting. I don't know if you guys know a lot about what's happening in the United Methodist Church, but a split is coming because there are people in the United Methodist Church who do not want to make it fully inclusive. And that is going to result in a split. I think that will happen at the next general conference. That's our worldwide conference. That's going to happen in 2024. It usually happens every 4 years, but the pandemic has really messed up our schedule. Um, but the decision has been made to have it in 2024. Um, and in the meantime, there are churches that are deciding to um, just disaffiliate from the United Methodist Church, um, because the group that wants to split from the UMC has actually created their own denomination, um, and they are encouraging churches um, who want to keep LGBTQIA plus people out of the church. They're encouraging them to join this new denomination and go ahead and disaffiliate. So we actually voted this weekend to approve the disaffiliation of 9 churches from the East Ohio Conference. You know, they got to make their own decisions, and that's fine. Um, and a lot, I don't think any of the representatives from those churches chose to come to annual conference. But this annual conference was really, really good. There wasn't a lot of contention. Um, usually there's a lot of debate about things, particularly as it relates to supporting issues of race and issues of LGBTQ IA plus inclusion. We didn't have those issues this year, which was kind of nice. But if you are a person of faith, I ask you to continue to pray for the United Methodist Church as we move through this process, that we can create a church that is fully inclusive. Yeah, so that's what I spent Thursday, Friday, and Saturday doing. Voting on business stuff related to the church, but also resolutions and things like that, and hearing some really good teaching. One of the speakers that was brought in to teach was the Reverend Dr. Michael Beck. He is actually from the Florida Conference. He pastors a couple of churches in north of Orlando, about an hour north of Orlando is what he told me. I had the privilege of giving him a ride to the airport when he was leaving. So we had a good time talking about things, but he did a lot of teaching on fresh expressions, which is a new way of doing church to reach new people, young people, diverse people who typically wouldn't set foot inside of church on a Sunday morning. So I'm really excited about the opportunity to visit his churches the next time that I am in Florida to visit my daughter. I think that'll be really, really cool. You can Google him. Again, he's the Reverend Dr. Michael Beck. I'll actually link his website below. He's on Instagram, although he admitted he's not on Instagram very often. You can also find him on Facebook, but I'll link him below. He's got some really good books available that cover what he covered in his teaching for us. And he's got some new books coming. I don't know if that information is public, so I'm not going to share it, but we had some really good conversation about that book, and I'm really excited to see that when it is available. So Yeah, like him on Instagram and Facebook. Follow him. Um, the stuff he's doing, like I said, is fantastic. So, all right. So I think that's about it. You might hear some banging. My husband and son drove to IKEA this morning, which is a couple hours from us. They had some guy time together, and my husband is upstairs putting together a bookcase that he bought. So you might hear some banging. That's what happens around here. It's okay. I'm having a little gin and tonic this afternoon. Hope you have a drink that you enjoy as you're watching this. All right, so that's it, I think, for what's happening now. Um, Now I want to talk about Elimu or education. Um, First, I want to do just a little bit of a reminder um, because we have some new folks here. This channel has been growing. I'm really surprised by that and delighted by it. Um, and appreciate all of you who come to watch and listen to what I have to say about all of these things. But just a reminder that um, I am all about creating beloved community, and so I wanted to just remind people what that means in case you haven't been here before. Um, Beloved community is a community where, according to Dr. King, the love of God operates in the human heart. Um, the Bible says that a good tree produces good fruit. And so the fruit of a beloved community, again, according to Dr. King, is justice and belonging and community and accountability. So, as we are pursuing justice, we are creating community where all people feel like they belong, where all people can fully participate in the life of that community, and we're holding people accountable to that. So, that means that, if we're in a beloved community, we're going to be concerned about equity. We're going to want every member of our community to feel like they really, really belong. Um, and again, we're going to hold each other accountable. And so if I find comments that I don't think are supportive of that beloved community, I'll just delete them. Um, you know, there are trolls out there. There are people out there who just want to make trouble because they don't want this kind of education to be available to people. They want to keep us fighting with each other, opposed to each other, threatened by each other. Um, and so sometimes they'll put things in the comments that are just not indicative of the kind of community that I want to have here. So I will delete those. Um, this is an educational space. So some folks might not appreciate that in the sense that, um, there are black and brown people who really just get worn down from having to educate white people all the time. It's hard work, and it's not their responsibility to do that work. You should be willing to do that work on your own. I'm a teacher. That's what I love to do. And so I have decided to educate people in this space. That doesn't mean you should expect other black and brown people to do that. But I have taken on that burden, that responsibility. And so I appreciate and am open to people asking questions, to providing additional education when people ask those questions in the comments. So that's okay to do that here. And if there is ever a time when I don't feel like I can answer a question, sometimes I get overburdened myself and don't want to answer a question. I'll just let you know that in a very loving way. Because again, I want to do things in a space of beloved community. So that's where we're at. So if you're down for that, great, you're in the right place. If not, then maybe you should look for a different podcast to watch, because that's not what we do here. So with that reminder, let's jump into the education for this podcast. We are coming up on Juneteenth. It's next weekend. I'm going to stand up a little bit, show you I have on my Juneteenth t-shirt that I got at the Rosa Parks Museum in Montgomery when I was on my alternative spring break trip. Juneteenth is June 19th. It is the oldest celebration of the emancipation of slaves in the United States. So it is a day that we celebrate the end of slavery. Black people have celebrated Juneteenth for a very long time. It was only last year that Juneteenth became a federal holiday, thanks to some action by President Biden. Thank you, President Biden, for doing that. And a lot of people just don't know a lot about Juneteenth. It really was something that was just celebrated in the Black community. It's something that we've celebrated in my family for a very long time. So there are a couple of really good sources for information about Juneteenth. One is a website. It's juneteenth.com. I will drop that in the show notes. So it's a really good place to start to educate yourself about the holiday. If you're interested in information for kids, actually the Boys and Girls Clubs of America has some really good info on their websites about Juneteenth that is kid appropriate. And they also have some really good information about ways that you can celebrate Juneteenth. And I thought that what I would do, let me back up. So the 13th Amendment abolished slavery. But there were slaves in the Southwest who didn't learn about it for a long time. So Juneteenth is the day that we celebrate basically slaves in Texas finding out that they had been emancipated. So that's what Juneteenth is. And you might be thinking, well, as a white person, is it appropriate for me to celebrate Juneteenth? If I celebrate it, what should I do? So the first thing I'm going to say is what you shouldn't do, and that is don't do cultural appropriation. Don't buy Juneteenth stuff from like Walmart. because that's not supporting Black and brown communities. Don't engage in cultural appropriation. So, for example, you know, don't buy a dashiki and walk around town wearing a dashiki, or whatever it is. Um, so don't do that. These are some things. I'm gonna give you my top 5 things to do to celebrate Juneteenth. The first thing that you can do to celebrate Juneteenth is to educate yourself. Go visit the websites that I just told you about, Juneteenth.com and Boys and Girls Club of America. Read a book or watch a historically accurate movie. You can watch 12 Years a Slave. That's based on an actual narrative of real experience of slavery. There's a really good documentary. If you are a person of faith, you probably heard of Our Daily Bread. They have a media arm which produces things like documentaries with the goal of making the Bible more accessible to people all over the world. But Our Daily Bread Media has produced a documentary on Juneteenth, and it's actually available for free on YouTube. I will link it below. It's called Juneteenth, Faith and Freedom. It's a little over an hour long. Really good source of information. So take the step to educate yourself. If you follow Johnny Bow of Johnny Bow Fiber Co. or Natty Bow Fiber Co. I can never get the name of their yarn company right. Nitty Bow or Natty Bow? Nitty Bow Fiber Co. I don't have a label here in front of me. But Aquila and John, a Lefty Knitter podcast, they have a yarn company, John Dyes Yarn. But John has been posting information about Juneteenth because he is doing his own education. He's actually been to the Library of Congress in DC. He sent me some really cool pictures that he took while he was there. Really cool stuff. He's learning a lot, and he's posting about that on Instagram. So if you don't follow him, you should give him a follow. That's another way to educate yourself. But John is a really good example of somebody who has taken it upon themselves, and Aquila too, to educate themselves about all of these issues. It takes, excuse me, it takes time. It takes intentionality because this history has been hidden from us. It's not readily available. So you have to take time and be intentional in order to educate yourself. It takes work, but I know that you can do it. So that's the first thing. The second thing is to educate other people. So as you learn, teach somebody. Teach them about the holiday. Teach them about the history of Black people in America. Again, this information has been hidden from us. It's not really readily available. So the more that we can teach, the more people will know. So that's the second thing. So 1, educate yourself. 2, share that knowledge with other people. The third thing you can do is support Black businesses near you. So if you have Black businesses where you are, support them with your dollars. I am always providing information about Black and brown makers. And some more will be linked below that I will talk about today. You can look at any of the show notes for any of my episodes to find links to Black makers. In February, we did a Black History make-along, and there is a Ravelry group for that where you can go to find information about Black makers. So designers and yarn dyers and yarn shop owners. So check that out. And, if you don't have the means to support them monetarily, promote their businesses on your social media. That doesn't cost you anything. Just say, I found this great designer. Look at this pattern. Go to wherever it is to purchase. That's a good way to support. And also, this also doesn't cost you anything. You can share information that you have about Black businesses with your friends. So if your friend says, I'm looking for this kind of yarn, or I'm looking for some project bags, or whatever it is, you can say, guess what? Try out this business. I think you'll like what they have to offer. So the third thing is supporting Black businesses. And if they're local to you, that's even better, because you're putting money into the local community when you do that. Number 4, attend your local Juneteenth celebration. There's probably one near you, especially since Juneteenth has blown up, since it's become a federal holiday. If you're in Northeast Ohio, there's going to be a free, open to the public Juneteenth celebration at Kent State University on Saturday, June 18th. I think it starts at 11. I'll drop the link to that event in the show notes. There are going to be Juneteenth celebrations all over. So look for those and attend them and spend money at the vendors that are there. Whenever I have been to Juneteenth celebrations, been involved with Juneteenth celebrations, there are community celebrations. What we try to do is invite vendors who are Black-owned businesses. So it's an opportunity for the community to come together, learn about Juneteenth, and support Black-owned businesses. So if you have a Juneteenth celebration in the area where you live, make sure you go. And then the last thing I would say, so number 5 of my top 5 reasons for, or top 5 things to do to celebrate Juneteenth, is to really learn more about the ways that slavery is still impacting all of us, not just Black people, all of us today. Slavery was outlawed, but all of us are still experiencing the effects of slavery today. A good example of this is mass incarceration, which actually began with the 13th Amendment, which is the amendment that ended slavery. Let me read to you the text of the 13th Amendment. This is what it says. Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction. So the 13th Amendment abolished slavery, except for people who have been convicted of crimes. That exception in the 13th Amendment opened the door for mass incarceration. It provided an incentive for communities to enact things like vagrancy laws, which made it legal to arrest Black people for standing around doing nothing. And there were communities that used that exception and vagrancy laws to arrest and convict Black people of vagrancy and throw them in prison for a very long time, and they could use them for free labor. Um, it's crazy. A really good documentary about this is called 13th. I understand it's still on Netflix. It is a Netflix documentary. It's really, really good. Um, and there's also a book, um, and the name of it is escaping me right now. I will put it in the show notes. Um, a really good book on mass incarceration that talks about the 13th Amendment, and also how mass incarceration has grown since slavery. So, just one example of how the impact of slavery is still being experienced in our current time. So, go and celebrate Juneteenth. Make it great with new knowledge and supporting Black businesses and learning all that you can about um, the legacy of slavery in the United States. All right, now let's get into some knitting content. It's time for Kumba, creativity. All right, so I do have one finished object since the last podcast. That is a hat. I will drop a picture here. It is the Not Too Tart hat by Fatima Hinds, Disturbing the Fleece on Instagram. I don't have it here with me because since I made it, my son has been wearing it, which is great. I love that he likes it. But I made that hat with Superfine Yarn Co. One of the minis that I bought at the Great Lakes Fiber Show was called the Mandalorian mini set. So it's 3 different colors. You can see them all in the hat. And my son's a big fan of the Mandalorian series. This pattern, Not Too Tart hat, is a fingering weight hat pattern. I really love this pattern. I love it so much that I started another one, and I'll show you that when I get to my whips. But I wanted to have something to knit on while I was in the conference over the last few days. And all the other whips that I had require a little too much concentration. This pattern really, so let me back up. Fatima decided to do an unconventional test knit. So she every day released a set of instructions so that anybody who followed her on Instagram could participate in the test knit. And I got started late because I was working on something else. But once I started, I couldn't put it down. I started it at just the right time when I was, really kind of stressed about what was happening, with the mass shooting in Buffalo and just all the things. And the pattern is so meditative. It really allowed me to focus on prayer. Knitting really is a mindful activity. And so, it can be used much like a rosary or Tibetan prayer beads. to really help you focus. And so, I just kept knitting on that hat. And so I finished it in less than a week. I've started a second one. I'm already about halfway done with it. So I'll show you that. But it's a really, really nice pattern. So I really encourage you to pick it up. It's available on Ravelry and on her Etsy page. Really, 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 really nice pattern. It's going to remain one of my favorites, I think, for hats. And it's a really good way to use up fingering weight yarn, for sure. So that was my finished object. Now my whips, I will start with my Not Too Tart hat that I started for a conference. So this is it. Look at that. So I started the brim with the leftover Mandalorian yarn that I had. So I used that up. I actually lost the game of yarn chicken I was playing. Didn't quite finish the last row with the gray, but that's okay. It's a hat. And then I started using this red and white and pink yarn that is also sparkle, because this is a sparkle yarn too. This red and white is by Mace of Skeins. That's her logo. This is the, it's 75% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 5% stellina. And the colorway is Candy Cane Lane. And it's actually a DK weight. It's not a fingering. So the brim is fingering. The rest of the hat is going to be DK. It'll be fine. It's fine. See, it looks fine. It's going to be great. So again, I'm really loving this pattern. I'll probably end up making a lot of these, to be honest, because it's just, I really, really like the pattern. I am still working on my night shift shawl. And I did not take this to conference. But I'm making really good progress on it. It's getting pretty big. I still have, I did reverse the colors. So in this pattern, there's a point at which you get where it tells you to reverse the colors. So that's what I did here. I think I reversed them in here somewhere. So you can see that the pattern shifted a little bit. But again, this is a really cool pattern. A couple of you have decided to start it since you saw it the last time. I'm really excited about that. So make sure that you share your night shift and tag me so I can so I don't miss it. But that's another pattern that I really love. It knits up pretty quickly because it's worsted weight yarn. Really, really great pattern. So, I still have my waffle cardigan and my hitchhiker shawl on hold because I'm trying to work on these other things like I've said before. The night shift is a birthday gift. Finish the other shawl, the physical shawl, that's a birthday gift. Working on this class. So got other things that I'm focusing on. So haven't made any progress on those two things. But I've said it before. That waffle cardigan pattern is so. I love the feel of it. It's a really fun knit, and I just love the fabric that it's making. So that is another Fatima Hinds pattern that I highly, highly recommend. Okay, let me show you my son's sweater. This is a paid for pattern, so I don't want to show it, but that's what it looks like. And this is a pattern that, because of the cabling, takes some concentration, so I'm moving through it very slowly. I didn't mark where I was the last time. I need to get some progress keepers on these. But the sleeves are a little longer now. Still working on them, but it's coming together nicely. Like it. Love the color. Love the pattern. Be careful not to have it slip off the needles. So, still working on the sleeves, but making very good progress. So the sleeves probably come up to here on me now. But, my son is a man, and the sleeves have to be pretty long. But just working my way through that. Love it. And working on it just a little bit at a time, because, again, it does require some concentration. I'm trying not to make too many mistakes on that, because I want it to be really, really nice. So that's that. Again, I'm using Wool of the Andes from Knit Picks. The color is Amethyst, and that's 100% Peruvian wool, I believe, if I remember right. I will show you my Mabe sweater that I'm working on in my class. It is living in my Broken Crafty bag, knit stitches. Love it. And I did not make a lot of progress on this because I've had to rip it out a couple of times. So let me hold it this way. So not very far at all. The pattern is pretty cool. It's going to be nice when it's done. In class today, my class was this morning, my instructor suggested that I put in a lifeline, so that is what I did. So if I have to rip out again, it'll be a lot easier. This is a Barocco pattern, and I am using 3 Irish Girls, which is available at my local yarn shop. And the colorway is Not a Cloud in Sight, and it is 60% cotton, 40% rayon. It feels really nice. It's a sport weight yarn. 330 yards, 4 ounces. I like it. I did notice, I think I mentioned this the last time, that when I blocked my swatch, it did bleed a lot. So I need to remember that when I go to block the garment, and use a color catcher so I don't lose a lot of the color, because I really like the color. It's going to go to a friend for their birthday. But again, I usually avoid lace because it takes so much concentration. And in class, once I got the lifeline in, it took me almost an hour to do one row because I kept checking to make sure I wasn't making any mistakes. Um, so I'm going to try and work on it some more today, and commit to working on it. I'm going to try and work a little bit on it every day this week. So when I go to class next week, I'll have more done. We'll see. Because it takes so much concentration, I can't work on it when I'm tired. Every time I do that, I make a mistake. So that's why I'm working on it in the evenings after work is a challenge, because I'm usually pretty tired when I get home. So we'll see. I'm going to try. We'll see what happens. The last thing I have is my painted honeycomb shawl that I am making with the Knitty Bow Fiber Co. Colorway Inherit the Revolution that John dyed for the Black History make-along. I'm keeping this in the bag that I got in my Kwanzaa box from Chicken Coop Dye Works. I love it. And it's appropriate for Pride Month, right? All the colors. It's cute. And it holds a lot, because I've got a lot of yarn in here, plus the project. I have been really enjoying this. It looks more complicated than it really is. So if you've been thinking about doing this particular pattern, I would encourage you to do so. It's slips and knits and purls. Like I said, it looks a lot more complicated than it is. So look at that. It's pretty long, and I haven't done that many. I've only done one full repeat of the pattern. I'm on the second repeat. But look at that. That is looking good, y'all. I can't wait to finish this and block it. That's going to be awesome. Isn't that cool? So, Janet Bow, you did the thing. It's coming out beautiful. Can't wait to finish that and wear it. It's great. Yes. So excited about that. So those are the whips for this episode. I hope to be able to show you some more finished objects next time. All right. Now I want to talk about Ujamaa cooperative economics. So I committed to not buying yarn at the Great Lakes Fiber Festival because I spent a lot of money at Maryland Sheep and Wool. So I decided I'm not going to buy any yarn when I go to Great Lakes. And I almost did it. But I did only buy minis. I bought 3 mini sets from Superfine Yarn Co. Talked about one, the Mandalorian mini set. I bought 2 more mini sets because I like the name. And they're both on Sparkle. And they were just really awesome. The second mini set that I got is called Superheroes. I don't know if that's focusing or not. I can't tell. Look at that. Isn't that cool? So the superheroes represented by these colors are Black Widow, Scarlet Witch, and Gamora. Isn't that cool? I love these. So I haven't decided what I'm going to do with it yet. I might just make another not too tart hat out of these. And the same with this one. I'll probably just make another hat. This one is Hellboy. I love the Hellboy movies. I think there are 3 of them. So these are just really nice, right? And if you are familiar with the movie, you know what characters these colors represent. I'm not gonna say. You gotta watch the movie. Really, really nice. So yeah, I'll probably just make hats with these. I don't know. Maybe I'll make some socks. Who knows? Some shorty socks might be good. We'll see. That is the only yarn that I bought at Great Lakes Fiber Festival. I bought some other things that are not yarn. One is I bought a couple of lotion bars. This is from the Midgard Farms in Mentor, Ohio. It's literally a bar that comes out and you rub it in your hands or wherever you want lotion. It smells delicious. This one is bergamot and lavender. I think the other one I bought was honey almond maybe. These are great. I've been carrying this around in my work bag. I like it better than like a little tube of lotion. So I'll have to get more of these. That was really cool. And then the other thing that I bought at the Great Lakes Fiber Show was a couple of project bags. And I got these from the Allegheny Fiber Arts Company. There's the card. They're located in Bradford, Pennsylvania. And these bags are really nice. So I got this one because it's doggy skeletons. That's cute. The inside fabric is coordinating really nice. And she has this divider on the inside, which is really cool. So you could put like 2 different skeins on either side and they won't get tangled up. Or you could put notions on one side and your yarn on the other. And it's a zipper closure. Has a nice removable handle so you can carry it around. Really nice. So love that. And she also had a number of project bags that were really cool. Like she had one that had RGB, the Supreme Court Justice that died recently, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, right? RBG. Anyway, I could tell by the project bags that this business owner's politics were aligned with mine. Let's say it that way. But look at this. this bag. And again, she's got coordinated fabric on the inside, a divider. And this one, because this bag is larger, this divider is actually like a notions pouch. There's a zipper on it. So you can put stuff in there. Look at that. Another color of fabric, but it's all coordinating. Love it. Got the handle again. This. I love this. So this was the other thing that I purchased at Great Lakes. So that was it for Great Lakes. And I was happy with my purchases. I was happy with the things that we did while we were there. It was great. I did make one other purchase. That was yarn. This is going to count as my June yarn purchase. Remember I said I was going to limit myself. So Lisa at 4U is now a carrier of Lola Bean Yarn Co. yarn. So if you're in Northeast Ohio and you want a local place to go shop Lola Bean yarn, go see Lisa at 4U. You can also, if you're not in Northeast Ohio, you can go to her website, 4u.com, and purchase it there as well. Adela actually made a colorway that is exclusive to Lisa's store. That is sold out. I missed out on that, but that's fine. It's okay. Actually, Jimmy, Adela's husband, developed the colorway. So that's pretty darn cool. But I did purchase some Lola Bean yarn. I'm going to show you that in a minute. It also came with, she sent me her local yarn shop day stitch marker, which is nice. It says 4U and it has the logo. LYS Day 2022. So I will be using that stitch marker. And then I got 3 skeins of this Lola Bean colorway. It's a DK weight. It's 100% superwash merino. It is on her pinto bean base, which is again the DK base. 115 grams, 250 yards. The color is African violets. And if you have ever seen an African violet, she did such a good job on this colorway. Like, it looks like the flower African violet. Really, really nice. Feels really nice too. All of Lola Bean yarn is you will never be disappointed when you get their yarn. So really happy with this. I actually purchased this from the website because I couldn't get up there because I was working on grants and stuff. I ordered this on a Saturday. No, I ordered this on a Sunday. I got it in the mail on Tuesday. So really great customer service. She put it in the mail right away. So I highly recommend Lisa at 4U. So check her out, especially if you want some Lola Bean. Good place to get it. She's got some available. So check her out. I will have her linked below. Lots of different colors, not just the African violet. So I've got 3 skeins of this. I got to decide what I'm going to do with it. Again, it's a DK. If you have any suggestions for some good DK weight patterns that would use about 750 yards of yarn, let me know. Because I would like to make something really nice with that. So that is it for this episode. Thanks for hanging in there with me. Enjoy the rest of your day, evening, morning, whatever time it is when you're watching this. And I will see you in the next episode. Asante Sana.